Okay, so today we're here to talk about the Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Now,
you know, it's a big deal.
Here's what we're going to do. Because we're a gaming channel, we're going to talk about the Telltale game series.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to just get into pop culture, because that wouldn't be right because we talk about games. So what we're going to do, it's kind of a cop-out, but whatever. We're going to use the Telltale game series to segue into the Game of Thrones, because we have to talk about it.
Yeah,
it was so ridiculous that we have to talk about it.
Yep.
You know, on one hand, and if I keep checking my phone, it's because we're in a tornado watch right now, so that just hit. So what we're going to do, discuss the Telltale game series, give an overview of that, and then go into some of the main characters and some of the plot lines I decided to go with, and how we think it's just a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, first, to get into it, let's talk about the game.
Yeah.
The Telltale game series, and I would scroll up, but it shows some lewd scenes, and I'm
I
not,
didn't even realize. I don't know.
if they pop up, I guess I'll have to get off this website, but they happened in the first season, I guess, when, you know, with Khal Drogo.
Yeah.
When Daenerys first got to that camp. But anyway, the overview of the Telltale series, are there 5 or 6 episodes?
Pretty sure it was 6 episodes.
Let me scroll down.
Pretty sure it was 6.
Yeah, 1 through 6. Yep. And of course, the cast, you have Lena Headey. I hope I don't pronounce these wrong. Is it Headey or Headey? That's Cersei.
I think it's Hetty.
I can't pronounce her name right. I guess I'm an idiot. Natalie Dormer as Marjorie, and then you got Peter Dinklage as Tyrion.
Yeah.
Ewan as Ramsay. Kid again as Jon Snow, and then Emilia Clarke as Daenerys.
Yeah.
So they did a lot of voice acting for their own character, which is really cool.
Yeah, because you don't find that all the time.
No, that Telltale was able to get for them to do that, which is really neat. But the overview, you play as House Forrester,
Yep.
which is a different house.
They're kind of vassals to another house that are vassals to the Starks. So it's a northern house.
And it says they're based in the north,
Yep.
but you have 2 main characters that you can pretty much 2 main characters that you're going to choose from in really big situations.
The cool thing about this game, did you play it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I played all the way through.
I like the way it goes back and forth, just like the show. I mean, you'll be in King's Landing, and then you'll go back to Iron Wrath, which is where the Foresters are. That's their keep, I guess you would call it. And then it does some stuff over, what's the land called, where Daenerys is? The desert and stuff. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, or good lord, man.
The Dothraki and the Unsullied and all those. And then you go there. So it goes back and forth
Essos?
between these things. Yes. It goes back and forth between all these areas. And so it's really cool. It's like the show. You play as multiple characters. Now, you're always going to have one guy that's probably mostly your main character. I mean, in terms of...
Well, you're going to make a big decision through it.
Yes. In several episodes,
Well,
actually.
let's just go and say, you're pretty much going through House Forrester all the way through.
Yes. Yeah.
There's one kid that Ramsay just right off kills.
Yes.
Which fits with his character.
It does.
Then you go to King's Landing, where you're basically the servant to Marjorie, and you have to make decisions there.
You're one of the females of House Forrester.
And if you don't, you get your head chopped off. And then, you know, you play as what's his name? The king? The prince?
I can't remember any of the dang names. It's making me mad. It's been so long since I played it.
I think his name's Roderick. And then you have his brother, who's in Essos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who is trying, you know, he's kind of a rebel. And you at some point... Asher.
And then Roderick is the other.
And at some point you have to choose between Roderick and Asher. And
Leon, who goes back to help fight.
And whoever you don't dies.
Yeah.
And who is it that kills? Is it Ramsay?
That kills...
One of them. I think it is Ramsay.
See, it's been so long since
it's Ramsay or the Lannisters. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's Ramsay.
And you meet some of the characters from the show, which is cool. Like most Telltale, like when they did with The Walking Dead, where you met a couple of characters from the comic books.
Now, they were planning on making a second season of this, but because Telltale went under, they didn't.
I was looking forward to it because I liked the first season. I mean, there were scenes of you. You also went to the wall with a character. What was his name? I can't remember his name either, but he was like a bastard, you know, of the Lord of House Forrester. So it was kind of like Jon Snow.
So basically, you're basically going through the Forresters, and there is some story there with the main characters.
Yeah.
With
it says it in here. It's towards where this story is towards the end of season 3, and then through like season 4, I think it says.
Yeah, you do see Jon Snow on the wall.
Yeah.
You do see Queen Daenerys in Essos with Asher.
Yep.
And I think you even speak to her, and you see her dragons as they're growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the game starts. Is it the Red Wedding? Pretty sure it's the Red Wedding where the game starts. You don't see it. You're outside of it as a soldier.
But it's harsh, just like the Game of Thrones.
It is. Yeah.
And that's kind of what we want to get into. How we felt it kind of went away. The writers, D&D, they call them. And apparently, they're going to be writing Knights of the Old Republic that people are thinking they're going to make for Star Wars. So that's great. But let's just go into the Game of Thrones. We're using this to segue into the actual what happened last night, and this article that we pulled up by the Big League, Game of Thrones just did it in the worst way, and some of the articles we put up just rampant with SJW stuff. I don't even understand how that fits in with. I don't understand certain writers, but
now going into this. I'm somebody who's watched the show off and on. I haven't watched it all the way through. Like
I have.
Diehard fan. You have. I have.
I'm not a diehard fan, but I loved the show.
Yeah, but you've kept up with it a lot more than I have.
I loved how it kind of immersed you.
Yeah.
In a really like backstabby type.
It was good. It was good in that sense. It did.
It was just like Cersei's quote to Ned Stark, you know, when you play the Game of Thrones, you better win or you're going to die.
Yeah.
You either win or you die.
Yep.
And by winning, you end up on the throne. But
Benioff and Weiss, those are the two guys that wrote it.
But you know, people are upset with how Bran ended up on the throne. It's not even that Bran ended up on the throne. It's all the events leading up. The dragon. You know, Kit Harington, he has a bunch of like hot-headed moments where he comes out and just, well, if the fans don't like it, then F them. Dude, if it wasn't for the fans, you wouldn't be working on the show.
You wouldn't be on the show.
And to be honest, I think if it wasn't for the fans, you wouldn't still be alive. I think they brought you back to life just to have you there. Because, you know, when they talked about the prince that was promised to what? Fail? The prince that was promised to let us down?
So Bran was the prince that was promised.
No, Jon Snow.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying, but basically that's what they said when they ended it that way.
Well, I know, but he could have. He didn't defeat the Night King. He didn't end up on the throne. Promised to do what?
You know, I saw a funny meme, and it showed him sitting there in his chair, and it said, "When you have no part in the Root Project but still receive an A." I just couldn't stop laughing because he didn't do anything.
No, he did nothing.
And now he's the king.
You remember when you know nothing, Jon Snow? Apparently not. Apparently he didn't. He knew nothing. He's still an idiot. At least you got to.
And then it didn't even fully like explain. I guess, are we just going to jump around, or are we going to try and keep it in a pattern? Because I was going to talk about where Jon Snow went after what.
Well, let's read some of this article. The story, of course, this includes spoilers. So if you haven't watched it yet, I guess I'll put spoilers in the beginning.
Yes.
But after 8 seasons, Game of Thrones just went out. Of course, you know we're doing a review, so you know there's going to be spoilers. Anyway, Bran's the new king. We mentioned that. I don't even. It talks about Jon and Daenerys here. I don't even understand what Daenerys did. She goes up. Somehow she dodged all the scorpions. Rhaegal was killed. Like he was floating through the air, and all of a sudden he just gets hit.
Yeah.
Supreme accuracy from here on. Supreme accuracy. But then all of a sudden,
from a distance.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Drogon, right? That's right.
Yeah, Drogon's just flying through the air,
like,
and he just straight too.
Like 20 feet away, and then they can't hit him.
Yeah, they're like shooting at him like Gatling guns, and they're just missing him, and he's just like flying. And then they got the scorpions mounted up on the walls.
Yeah.
Really, that didn't matter.
I guess not.
And Euron just appears out of nowhere to fight Jaime.
Yeah.
And like mortally wounds him, but doesn't because he gets back to Cersei. But somehow, for some reason, Jaime rode all the way across the planet to sleep with Brienne, but then immediately leaves her to go all the way across the planet.
Because he's going with the woman he loves.
Who he left in the beginning, who he betrayed because she lied to Jon Snow that they were gonna... What?
I don't know.
So, in season 7, she was gonna turn their back on them, on Jon Snow and Daenerys, the agreement they made to fight the Night King.
Yeah.
That ended in one episode, so apparently that wasn't a big deal. And the Dothraki...
Hey, 7 seasons. The Night King's coming. He's the most powerful foe we could ever have.
Winter's coming. Winter's ended.
He's dead in 20 minutes. And it wasn't even how he died. Like, that part's not even the part that bothered me.
Yeah, Arya materialized out of thin air. Well, she used her special assassin skills. So they can hear droplets of blood. Well, then how did he turn around just in time to grab her in the ear?
To grab her and stop her. Yeah.
So he could do that, but then when she drops the knife, he goes, "Oh, damn!
Hey, look at that.
What is this?"
Hey, it's in her...
And he made no noise either. This was his facial expression. And then he just explodes. And I was into that. And then Jaime and Cersei are down in the... And they get the tower falls on him and kills him. The bricks. Are we supposed to feel bad for them? That's how she died. She went down into an underground cave and it fell on her. That's how she died.
Yeah, the bricks.
The biggest villain...
The bricks killed House Lannister.
They built her up as the biggest villain. And Daenerys just goes through and burns the whole town. Well, you know, if you see, that's how she was. No, she didn't. She spent an entire few seasons.
She's not even one of my favorite characters, and that was stupid.
But she spent her entire lineage killing slave owners.
Yeah, she freed all these slaves.
And freeing women and children. And fighting for...
Talking about how when she took the Iron Throne, she was wanting to make it peaceful. Where people weren't fighting each other.
But then bells start ringing and she just flips out. She just burns everybody.
I get that her best friend died. I get that. But that wouldn't just change her on a whim to just kill millions of innocent people.
But everybody had died up to that point.
And she burns it. Not only does she do that, she just starts beheading everybody in the city.
And then this one, that's to me the dumbest part was when Jon stabbed her, and the dragon said, "Oh, F it," and picked her up and flew away.
Yeah, well, he burned the Iron Throne first, though, Cody. So that was the message that the writers were trying to. I guess Bran is still the king. So what difference does it make if there's a throne there or not?
So what?
There's no symbolism that makes sense there. If they would have burned the throne down, and then they would have decided we're not having one king anymore, we're going to be a democratic society, that would have made more sense.
Yeah, but then they took stabs at the democratic society for some reason.
I don't get that.
We might as well have dogs vote.
Sam was trying to, Samuel Tarly was trying to say, you know, why don't we do a democracy?
I guess he's my favorite one in the show.
I guess.
Everybody hate that.
And somebody said there was a quote that a person said, well, why don't we just let the dogs vote too? Okay.
Might as well at this point. They're smarter than all the humans in the series.
Humans, so. And then Jon Snow.
Yeah, Ghost is the best character in the show.
Yeah. And then Jon Snow he pets Ghost, and then he just goes with Tormund in the wildlings back, north of the Wall. And they said, well, what is he going to do now? Is he going to start a new Night's Watch? Well, what are they watching?
Yeah, what are they watching?
The wall's gone.
What are they watching?
I don't know.
We're the watcher on the wall of what?
Well, what wall, number one?
Yeah, it's not even there anymore. What are you watching? I didn't even read this. As for Jon Snow, the series' most interesting, important, loved, and wait for it, wasted character he was. I took some issue with this last week. The audience has been made to believe this was Jon's story for the entire final season. Yeah, they built him up to do nothing with him.
Yeah.
He has mostly been an afterthought, lacking big moments. He finally got a moment by killing Daenerys in a bizarre scene that was rushed. He was. He just walked in and kissed her and then stabbed her?
Yeah, he said, he tried to say, to tell her that what she was doing was wrong, and she said, I want you to help me, cleanse isn't the word she used, but that's what I'm going to use. She said cleanse the entire world, or help the entire world by killing everybody.
She
So
would
she's
never
just
do
completely sadistic now, I guess. I don't know.
that. She would never do that. That doesn't make any sense.
Right here, it says it right in that next sentence, exactly what you said. It makes no sense why the only dragon left just burned the Iron Throne and flew away.
Where?
Right after where you ended, the scene that was rushed.
Yeah, it makes no sense why the only dragon left to just burn the Iron Throne and flew away to a place we will never. Yeah, just don't.
He would have killed John. I mean, he would have done. He would have killed.
Well, he can't be
that
killed
was
by
his mother.
He can't be killed by fire.
Well,
Yeah, but it still has teeth.
The teeth, claws. Yeah, just step on him.
They didn't even give a damn. They didn't even care. They ruined it on purpose. There's no other explanation.
I'm just gonna kind of read through the rest of the paragraph that we were just on. Anyway, back to John. Following doing what he clearly had to do.
You have to let me know where you're at.
It's right after where you stopped reading. Where you were talking about the dragon.
Anyway, back to John. Yeah, I talked about Grey Worm. That's where I was reading.
Following doing what he clearly had to do, killing the evil queen, he gets punished. Not just punished, but punished by Grey Worm and his army. So Bran was just elected king, but Grey Worm gets to punish him.
Punish who?
Jon.
For what?
Killing Daenerys.
Wait. She was killing everybody. What did he do? Just send him back?
Yeah, he just got sent back to the north.
Yeah, sent back to a life of physical labor and no hope.
So the plot point of him being a Targaryen didn't matter. The only reason they made that is so he could ride the dragon with Daenerys. That's the only reason now.
This was a small little article, but I mean, this doesn't even encapsulate everything.
Well, there's more stuff. Arya, she's just traveling away. She says she wants to travel like off the coast of Westeros to find a new land. So
what happened to Gendry?
She's just leaving. I don't know.
Did he even appear in this episode?
I don't know. I didn't say anything about it. You saw Tormund at the very end going with Jon back north.
What was his purpose?
Tyrion's the only one that had a decent ending that I liked.
Yeah.
He became Hand. That's it.
So the characters that are still had a decent story. You got Tyrion, you had Sam.
Yeah, Sam had a good story.
You had Ghost.
So basically the side characters. So they didn't know how to finish the main character.
Yeah, Podrick.
I don't even know if you saw Sansa. I mean, you learned that she's going to be Queen of the North, but I don't even know if you saw her.
And Podrick
became a knight.
Became a knight,
yeah. Which
was kind of cool. What happened to Bronn? The assassin. Not really assassin, the hired hand of Tyrion.
I don't know. See if I can find an article that kind of talks about. Just keep talking, I guess.
I don't. The characters didn't even follow their own plot lines from the last 7 seasons. That's what people are upset about.
You know, leading up to this.
Was this rushed? Did they even?
They did it in 6 episodes.
It almost seems like they didn't even know what to do, or they didn't want to.
I don't understand why they couldn't have done a full 10 episode season.
It seems like they didn't want to do it another season, like they were just done with it. It didn't even seem like they even gave a crap.
You know, as someone from the outside, I'm a little bit different looking at this, and I feel bad for people that have stuck with this show for
I'm not even a big fan. Well, I'm a fan of the show, but I'm not even like one of those diehard fans. And I feel bad for the people who have been watching this. They grew up with this.
Yeah.
This took, what, 9 years to produce because they took 2 years for season 8?
Yeah, 2 years. 2 years for this.
So almost a decade. So if you were just an adult, well, we were, James. We were 18 years old when we started watching
when
this.
First came out.
They didn't even care.
They did. They rushed through it. They did a bunch of random stuff that made no sense.
I don't even know what else to talk about. I mean, and the thing with Euron, what happened to Euron? Did he just leave? Or did he die?
I don't know.
Did they even explain it? Because it showed him on the rock. When he was laying there on the rock, he just mortally wounded Jaime. Where did he go after that? And the part I don't get is where Drogon is just flying over the sea, which was cool when he was flying through the sea and he was like getting ready to attack everybody. And this was an episode before episode 6. It was episode 5 when she was burning the town. But she was flying through and she... How did they not hit Drogon? How did he just become invulnerable? And do you remember episode 4 where they had Grey Worm's wife up on top, or his lover?
Yeah.
Missandei?
Yeah.
And they had her up there, and do you remember seeing the small little army they had in front of the castle?
Yeah.
All they had to do was just kill all those people and it was over with the scorpions.
I know.
The dragon was sitting right out there.
Yeah,
all they had to do was
Cersei decided not to.
Why?
Why would she decide not to do that?
All of so
that part doesn't make sense with her character.
So the entire time she's just bloodthirsty in there, she just doesn't care. And and Tyrion threatens her. And all of a sudden, well, they didn't explain this. How did the Dothraki and Unsullied just respawn?
I don't know. It was like a video game.
It looked like they just, well, they're dead. Okay, our death timer is up. They just respawned into the area and just attacked the city. They were all dead. We didn't even talk about the stuff with the Night King. And basically, the last thing I kind of want to get into, you got about 6 minutes left before the camera shuts off. We got over a 30-minute runtime, but Game of Thrones anger about the final season, and the franchise could suffer for it. I think they're trying to make spin-offs.
Yeah, they're trying to make spin-offs.
And the key points they talk about here from CNBC, the outrage isn't limited to fan community either. Such mainstream publications as Forbes and Washington Post are upset.
Yeah.
There's a petition. What'd you say?
I thought it was over 2 million. It said before, but I know for a fact it was over 1 million.
Right here it says with over 500,000. It's gone way up.
It's gone. It's over 1 million now. I saw they were talking about it yesterday.
And it talks about, so can the franchise withstand the level of ire? This is before the Game of Thrones aired, the final episode.
Yeah, and the final episode made it even worse. So.
But basically, all this is going into is how fans are upset, and they were already upset before the finale.
Yeah.
But the finale, I don't even know. I don't understand why. I mean, Screen Rant, Game of Thrones storytelling gets so bad. It was just bad storytelling. I don't even understand. What were they trying to get into?
I don't know. I think you're right. I think they were just trying to rush it and get it over with. I really do. I think that's all they were trying to do.
And the thing with Arya in episode 5, she was running through. She assassinated the Night King like it was nothing, but then the dragons are flying over and she can't get
out of the city.
And it shows long segments of her and this horse and her trying to get through the city, and this stuff just falling around her, and all of a sudden she's just scared.
You know, that's something else. When she, at the end of that episode, when she finally got out and she rode the horse off, it was a pale horse, which, you know anything about biblical stuff.
And not only that,
Death rides the pale horse.
And her god is the god of death.
Yeah,
that's her
and they were talking about, you know, what does this signify for the finale? What is she going to do in the finale?
Nothing?
Nothing. It didn't mean anything. She just rode away on the horse.
Yeah, why did they do it? Why are you building things up for nothing? Why?
I don't know.
Did Rian Johnson write this?
That's what it's starting to look like.
I mean, they're working with him on Knights of the Old Republic. Well, that's a rumor, but they're working with him, were they not now? With Star Wars?
They claimed they were.
What, did he come in and write this?
Sounds like it. Sounds like something he would write. Something that makes no sense with the rest of the... It looks exactly like what he did with the last Star Wars, where he did... he had characters do things that were completely out of character from the rest of the series.
I just got off the articles. I don't even understand. I couldn't even read through and coherent. I couldn't even go through in order of what I was reading.
I know. This one I was looking at, it was just talking about who was on the council and things like that decided who the next ruler was going to be.
Who was on the council?
It says a council comprised of...
Because I turned it off. I didn't even watch that part. I should quit.
And it says it's comprised of Samuel Tarly, Brienne, Sansa, Arya, Bran, Gendry, right? Is it Gendry? Gendry.
So there he was.
Lord Davos, and some other ones. And they said there were even some people on there that nobody even knew who they were. They were just random people that they had.
Yeah, you said that. Because I asked you, I said, who decided who... Because I just turned it off. I was watching highlights of the episode, and then when I got to certain points like that, I just turned it off.
And Tyrion suggested Bran, and Bran said, "Why do you think I came all this way?" I mean, I know.
So he knew.
I know he's the Three-Eyed Raven, but.
So he knew.
So he can't bear children. So the rulers that follow him are all going to be elected.
Well, I thought they didn't want a democracy.
They didn't.
But they were going to have a democracy.
It's going to be elected by the council, not by the people.
So it's an oligarchy.
Yeah.
Well, that's even worse. Because now they get to decide everything.
And then it just kind of talks about how it wraps up.
Who's to say when they all die that the new people that are going to be... So the Game of Thrones is going to restart. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
They're just going to repeat history.
Basically what the writers are trying to say is that history's always going to repeat itself. People can't change it.
Then what was the point of this entire thing?
Nothing. The only thing they accomplished in 8 seasons was killing the Night King. That's it.
Okay, so the show's a meme now and it sucks. So, that's over with. Good job.
And
anyway, guys, let us know what you think by leaving it in the comment section down below.
Let us know how much you hated it in the comment section.
Or liked it. If you liked it, you might hate us.
You hated it.
It didn't even follow the story. It didn't even follow anything.
Anyway.
We used the video game to segue into the...
Because we needed to talk about it because it's big in pop culture terms.
But, we're probably going to get some dislikes for this. Subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comment section down below again.
Yeah.
Social media is going to be down in the description. Hit the notification bell. And I guess we'll see you in the next video. We got some stuff coming up because we're going to be leaving in a little bit. But we're going to have some fun and funny stuff coming up. So, we'll see. Have a good day.
Have a good day.